I never thought I'd have to take my own daughter-in-law to court just to prove I wasn't losing my mind. But that's exactly where my life ended up, sitting in a cold courtroom in Dallas while the woman who used to call me Mom told a judge I was too old and forgetful to understand my own bank account. And the worst part? My own son believed her. I'm 68 now, but this started about a year ago. My name is Linda Parker, a widow living in a quiet suburb outside Dallas, Texas. My husband passed away 5 years ago. After he died, things were tight for a while, but I managed. I had always handled our finances, and I was proud that I could still stand on my own 2 feet. My son Ryan helped when he could. He worked at a financial consulting firm downtown and had built a good life for himself. A few years ago, he married a woman named Brittany. At first, Brittany seemed perfect. She was polished, charming, always dressed like she was heading to a magazine photo shoot. But she had a strange way of giving compliments that didn't quite feel like compliments. "Linda, your house is so cute," she once said, glancing around my small living room. "It's like a little time capsule." I laughed back then. I didn't realize that comment was the beginning of something darker. Ryan and Brittany lived in a modern townhouse in Plano, and we kept up our usual Sunday dinners. For a while, everything felt normal. Ryan grilled in the backyard. Brittany brought expensive wine. And we'd sit around talking like life was simple. But slowly, little things started changing. Brittany began asking questions about my finances. "Linda, do you still manage all your bills yourself?" she asked one evening while helping clear the table. "Of course," I said. "Why wouldn't I?" She smiled sweetly. Managing money can get confusing later in life. Later in life, it stung more than I expected, but I brushed it off. I had spent 40 years managing my household finances while raising Ryan and helping my husband run his business. I wasn't some confused old woman. Then one afternoon, about 8 months later, I noticed something strange while checking my bank account. A transfer, $2,000 gone. At first I assumed it was a mistake, maybe an automatic payment I had forgotten about. But then another transfer appeared the next week, and another. By the end of the month, nearly $8,000 had disappeared. My stomach dropped. I called the bank immediately. After 20 minutes on hold, the representative finally came back on the line and said something that made my heart pound. "Ma'am, the transfers were authorized from your secondary account." "I don't have a secondary account," I said slowly. There was a short pause. "Yes, you do," she replied carefully. "It's under your name." That was the moment real fear hit me, because I had never opened another account. A week later, Brittany came over for coffee, and I decided to ask her directly. "Brittany, do you know anything about a second bank account under my name?" For just a split second, something flickered across her face, surprise, maybe even panic. Then she shrugged casually. "Oh, that? Ryan mentioned you might have forgotten." "Forgotten what?" "That you asked me to help organize your finances." I stared at her. "I never asked you to do that." She tilted her head and gave a small smile. "Well, maybe you don't remember. Maybe you don't remember." Those 4 words stuck in my mind like a splinter. That night, I called Ryan. "Sweetheart," I said carefully, trying to keep my voice steady. "Did you ask Brittany to open a bank account for me?" There was a pause on the phone. "Mom," she said, "you asked for help." "I didn't." Another pause. Then Ryan sighed. "Mom, Brittany's just trying to help you. Trying to help me." That was the moment I realized something was very wrong. Before I continue, if you enjoy real-life karma stories like this, make sure you subscribe to the channel. These stories remind us that the truth always finds its way out no matter how long it takes. Over the next few months, more money disappeared. Not only from that strange account, but from Ryan's credit cards too. Charges started appearing for spa visits, designer shopping, flights to Cancun, and even a down payment on a brand new Lexus. Every time I asked about it, Brittany had an explanation ready. "Oh, that's a business expense. Ryan approved that." "Oh, Linda, you must have misunderstood." And every single time, Ryan defended her. "Mom, you're overthinking this. Mom, Brittany handles the finances." Slowly and painfully, my own son started doubting me. Then, one evening, Ryan and Brittany came to my house looking unusually serious. We sat in the living room and Brittany cleared her throat. "Linda," she said softly, "Ryan and I are a little concerned." "Concerned about what?" She exchanged a glance with him. Your memory. I felt the air leave my lungs. Ryan rubbed the back of his neck. Mom, Brittany thinks you might be having some cognitive issues. You think I'm losing my mind? No, Brittany said quickly. Not losing it. Just early signs, maybe. Then she pulled out a folder and slid it across the table. Inside were bank documents. Every transfer appeared authorized with my signature. My hands started shaking. The signatures looked exactly like mine, but they weren't. That's when the truth hit me. Brittany hadn't just taken the money. She had forged my name. I looked at Ryan desperately. Son, you don't believe this, do you? He hesitated, and that hesitation broke my heart. But what Brittany didn't know was that, by then, I had already started documenting everything. Every visit, every strange comment, every conversation, dates, times, exact words. All written carefully in a small brown journal. 6 months later, Brittany and I weren't sitting in my living room anymore. We were sitting across from each other in a Dallas courtroom, while a judge flipped through evidence showing she had stolen $40,000 from our family. The courtroom fell silent when Brittany suddenly began crying. Not quiet tears either, full trembling shoulders and a shaking voice. Your Honor, she said softly, dabbing her eyes. Linda has been struggling with memory problems for months. She forgets conversations and things she asked me to do. I was only trying to help manage the finances. I glanced back at Ryan. He was staring down at the floor. But my lawyer, Rachel Mitchell, stood calmly. Your Honor, we'd like to submit additional evidence. She placed my journal on the judge's desk. My client documented every interaction with the defendant for 8 months. These entries align precisely with the bank transfers and credit card charges. The judge adjusted his glasses and began flipping through the pages. Then Rachel called another witness, Daniel Brooks, the chief accountant at Ryan's company. I reviewed the financial records, he said clearly. The transfers were made from Ryan Parker's personal account to an account opened under Linda Parker's name. And who controlled that account? The judge asked. Daniel pointed across the courtroom. Brittany Parker. The silence that followed felt like thunder. The judge looked directly at Brittany. The evidence indicates you opened a bank account in your mother-in-law's name, forged her signature, and transferred approximately $40,000 for personal use. Spa charges, designer shopping, vacations. That Lexus. Brittany's confidence collapsed instantly. I didn't mean to hurt anyone, she whispered. Then she turned toward Ryan. Ryan, please tell them I was helping us. You know I was handling the finances. Ryan didn't say a word. He just stared at her with an expression I had never seen before. The judge closed the file. The court finds the defendant responsible for financial exploitation and fraud. Mrs. Brittany Parker is ordered to repay $40,000 and is prohibited from managing financial accounts for 5 years. The gavel struck. Court adjourned. Ryan walked past Brittany without saying a word. And honestly, that moment hurt more than the trial itself. Because justice had been served. But my son's marriage had just ended right there in that courtroom. Months passed after the trial without a single call from Ryan. Then one stormy night, I heard a knock on my door. It was Ryan, standing in the rain. The moment I opened the door, he dropped to his knees. Mom, I'm so sorry. He buried his face in his hands. I believed her. I let her manipulate me. I helped him onto the couch. After a long silence, he finally said, Brittany's gone. She had drained the rest of their savings and run off with another man. The only message she left him said, you trusted the wrong person. Ryan stared into the fireplace. I lost everything. I placed my hand on his shoulder. No, I said softly. You didn't. He looked up. You still have the most important thing. What's that? The ability to admit you were wrong. That night we talked for hours. Before he left, Ryan asked something that made my chest tighten. Mom, can I help with your foundation? After the trial, I had started a small nonprofit helping elderly people who had been financially exploited by family members. The following Saturday, he showed up early with coffee, and every weekend after that, he kept coming back. About a year later, I received a call from Austin. I had been selected as Texas Woman of the Year for advocacy in senior financial protection. At the ceremony, I told the audience a simple story about a mother who was betrayed, about a woman who almost lost her son, and about the moment she realized that truth doesn't need revenge. It just needs courage. When the applause ended, Ryan hugged me. "Mom," he said, wiping his eyes, "I finally understand what honesty means." That was the real victory. Not the money, not the court case, just that moment. Later that night, I opened the journal that had started everything and wrote one final line. The thief is gone, but the lesson remains. Because the greatest karma wasn't what happened to Brittany. It was watching my son find his way back to the truth. And honestly, that was worth more than every dollar she ever stole.